Hey everybody, Debbi Starr here. I'm super excited to join you today because we're going to talk about, I call it the secret tool that most people are not using. If you are using the all-in-one marketing platform, GoHighLevel, or maybe one of the white labeled versions out there, Funnel Gorgeous, there's a whole range of white label. It's all the same basically. But here's the deal. The one tool that I think you are underutilizing is the whole CRM management piece. And quite honestly, this was, I think, kind of its flagship first product when they were entering into the online space here with this tool. So I'm going to share my screen here in a second and just dig into how you can utilize this. But before I do that, let me just talk about CRMs, why you need them in your business. CRM, it's a client relationship management software, or what's another word? Back in the olden days, the Rolodex file. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if anybody's ever heard of the old-fashioned Rolodex, right? So in the old-fashioned Rolodex, what you would do is, you would write down all of the details about that person, about the product, about the company, whatever it is. And then from there, you could always go back to it. So if you were a salesperson hitting the pavement and you would visit these companies once a week, once a month, whatever it is, you could just look in your CRM or your Rolodex and you would have all of that detail there. Well, nowadays, with everything being digital, you're going to love tapping into the power of the CRM. So I'm going to share my screen here and I'm going to show you the CRM inside of GoHighLevel. Now, again, you might be using another white labeled version. They're all basically the same. This is, we're looking kind of under the hood at mine here. So the background colors, all of that kind of stuff might be a little different for you. But over here on the left, that's our main menu items. If you go to contacts, and then this is where all of those little individual cards, so to speak, live. So I'm going to open up one. This is actually just one of those lovely generated contacts that we get all the time from those bogus, Facebook, we're going to close your account down. But there's nothing confidential on this. But what I want to do is just take a few minutes and kind of walk you through all of the powerful assets here. And when we get all done today, if anybody has questions, you can just ask me and we'll dig into it. But over here, kind of on the left, is we just go down and basically any and all information that you want to add for that person. Now, depending on how they come on to your world, they might have opted in for a lead magnet, or maybe they purchased something from you, or it might even be an online form that they fill out. They might have tagged you in your social media if you have your social media set up where it's capturing this. So they come into your world somehow, and based on that input form, it will either gather a little or a lot of information. So again, this is just somebody zapping me on the social media. So all I've got here is just a first and last name. Normally, if they're opting in on a form, we're going to capture their email. Yes, it's great to get somebody's phone number, but let me share a little tip with you. If it is a cold lead and you're trying to build up your database, make it as easy as possible. I tell people only ask for the first name and the email. Later on, as you continue bringing those people closer to you, you can get more information. Okay. So again, there's a lot of standard fields here. And again, based on the type of business you have and what you do with the people coming into your world, you might do something with their birth date. Maybe you send out an annual birthday card to them. Contact source. Maybe you are tracking where these people are coming to you. Okay. If they're an affiliate, you'll, want their PayPal address. And again, we just go down the list, and some of these little input forms are added based on some of these back-end forms that we've created, okay? General information, if their business name, city, address, all of that kind of stuff, all right? So that's all the scoop from this person. Now let's look in the middle category, and I'll share another one with you here in just a minute, but we can see that this person came into me from an Instagram message. It's just one of those bogus ones saying my account's going to be shut down. Okay. If I wanted, I could just click down here and send them a message back through Instagram. I'm not going to engage in this person, so I'm just going to skip that. Okay. Now, up here, kind of near the top, we will see some other things, little icons, and I'm just going to briefly talk about these. In the middle is something that says owner and assigned to, and right now it's just saying it's unassigned. What does this mean? If you have a team and you've got multiple people, depending again on the automations, all kinds of things, but you can assign different contacts to different people. So if you have a larger team, then somebody might come in and the front person maybe takes care of something and then it gets assigned to someone else. The beauty of that is if you have hundreds or thousands of leads, you don't have to look at the whole database. You could just focus on those leads assigned to you. Okay. Another reason that it's good to assign leads to individual team members is then if you send out an email or anything like that, it will copy over the information based on that particular owner. So if I was to send an email address, or send an email, I'll show you that in a minute. Because it would be assigned to me, it would pull my email signature file. Okay. Then, GoHighLevel, I mean, it's great. They're continuing to make so many updates, but quite honestly, it's kind of hard to keep up with everything. They've just recently added a couple of updates over here to the far right, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. But if we come over to this first little box here, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a little box with a check mark in it. So you can create task. And because this contact is assigned to me, then it's going to show up basically in my little inbox. And so I could just click on that and give the task a name. So let's say, for instance, that this is a real person and I wanted to follow back up. I might just say, what do I want to say? Send back a reply via the DMs or something. Okay. And, maybe ask them this question, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then I could go ahead and reassign it to someone else if I wanted. But what's going to happen is then this gets tagged to me and it's like my to-do list based on all of my contacts. I can give it a due date. Here it's got a due date of Friday, November 1st. So I can just save this. And then when I come back in, I can also just look at all of my tasks. All right. So how easy is that? And then as I'm looking at this particular contact, I can see over here to the right that I have a task. It's like, oh yeah, this is our new client. I need to onboard them, etc. Okay. So that's that first one. Then if we go to the second one, this is the notes and I'm going to click add. And so again, let's say you're doing some recruiting or outreach and you just might say, talk to them via the DMs. They need someone to build their funnel. Will get back with me on Monday. Okay. And then I'm just going to save this. So now here's the note. The beautiful thing about this, let me see a show of hands. How many people use these little sticky notes all the time? My desk is littered with them because I'm writing myself notes to remind me to do something. Well, this note is attached to this contact. So I never have to dig through my files wondering what did I say to them? And I could assign a task to myself for next Monday to follow up with this person again. All right. So is that making sense what I'm saying? And do you see the beauty of it? Because it's all nicely wrapped together inside of my contacts in my CRM. All right. So let's keep going. The next little icon up here at the top, it's appointments. So I could add an appointment. So maybe this person said, yes, I think I need you to do this, but can we chat about it on Monday? So I could go ahead and actually set up an appointment on my calendar with them. Okay. Now the next one here, it looks like that little piece of paper, documents. And what's nice now is if I have some contracts that I want to attach to this person, or maybe I have a PDF file that just explains all my services, whatever it is, I could add that document. Okay. I don't have anything set up here. I was thinking I had a contract, but maybe it's in my other account. So I could add that contract right here. And again, it's attached to that contact. Never have to hunt for it again. Then the next little icon, payments. And so here, what I could do is if I click the little drop down, I could like if they have a standing an account with me, and of course that I have their permission, then I could send them a charge. Okay. Or I could create a subscription. So if somebody wants to come into our world and come under our umbrella and be one of our sub accounts with the GoHighLevel, then we could just set up the subscription right here. On the back end, you have to have the product, which there's separate training for that. But as long as that product's there, I can set the subscription up. It's attached to this person and they're good to go. I can send that to them, and then every month or whatever it is, it gets charged. The same thing with the invoice. I could create an invoice, and then I can come down here and I can, of course, I don't have all the details about this client because I don't even have their email address, right? But then I could add the product or whatever it is, service that I'm sending, and then I could send the invoice. So again, all of this is taking place inside of my contacts, right? So let me just come back here. So up here, again, the documents and then the payments. And then the last thing, the association. This is a pretty new item also. And what this is you can associate people and kind of like things with other people. And so the best analogy that I heard is if you are a veterinarian, for instance, and Betty Lou has several pets, and you could associate her cat and you could associate her dog or whatever it is. Okay. So that's the associations. And that's a pretty new thing here. So the Kathy asked a question, can I see all my tasks in one place? Yes. Or do I have to search by each contact? Excellent question. Yes, we can track our contact or track our task just from the dashboard. And it will show you everything that's like on your list, so to speak. So you don't have to keep digging into each one of your contacts. Great question. Okay, so now isn't that a lot? That's, like I said, lots of detail inside of each contact. And it is like the golden ticket that people are not utilizing. So that is just with each contact. Now, let me just take a few minutes and talk about, so I'm looking at my entire list of leads or contacts in this particular account that I have open. And there's a lot of things you can look at. You can see and you can sort by when that contact was created, last activity. You could sort on tags. So you can sort this however you want. Normally, I just sort it by the date. So the most current one is on the top. But again, you could sort them by name, however you want to do it. The other thing is up here, kind of near the top, we have all these small little tiles, so to speak, and I'm just going to briefly talk about it. So you could manually add a contact. So the little plus sign here, I'm talking on the phone to somebody. They haven't filled out a form, but I'm going to capture that data right now. Okay, so Betty Sue, talk to her, and then again, just like I showed you, you could get into creating the notes and all of that kind of stuff. All right, so that's how you would manually add a contact. The second button or tile here is called pipeline change. Again, that's a separate training for what pipelines are. But basically, it's like a little chart if you are tracking where people are going. So if people filled out a form and then you've invited them to get on a phone call, maybe they've scheduled the phone call, then the next step, you send them the contract and you're waiting for the contract to come back. Those would be steps in this pipeline. So people don't automatically get assigned to a pipeline, but you can assign them to a pipeline if you want. And inside of that contact, kind of near the bottom is a little drop-down arrow, and you can assign them to that pipeline. So sometimes maybe you want to manually kind of move them from one stage to the other. So that's what it's talking about. The next one is add to automation. So let's say that you have an automation that once people fill out a particular form, they get added to a free training series that you have under your membership. Well, again, maybe I'm talking to somebody on the phone, so I add Betty Lou's information and I want to manually add her to that automation. And then on the back end, the automation would tag her, would give her permission to the membership site, would send her the email, and it would do all of those steps for me. So that's when I might want to add an individual to an automation. The other thing that I could do is maybe in my database, I've got 10 people and I have this other automation running and I want to send all 10 of those. I would just go down and I would select whoever I wanted and again, assign them to that automation. Okay. You can also send group SMS and emails from here. And I'm going to talk about sorting in just a minute, but let's say we did a quick sort and we only pulled out people that had a certain tag. Then from that, I could just do a real quick send an email. All right. Or I could, the next two cards are tagging. So, again, maybe everybody that has, I've got a tag over here called OMG lead magnet. So maybe I want to sort on that. And then everybody that has that tag, I'm going to give them a new tag. Okay. Then I could do that. Or I could delete a tag, whatever I wanted to do. I can also delete contacts. So anybody that doesn't have an email or that I know definitely is some kind of a spam, I could highlight those and just click and delete those. Okay. This is a fairly new feature too, send review request. People went through my course or they utilize one of my services. I can click that and it will prompt them to send a review request. The next two, export contacts and import contacts. So if you are coming from someplace else or you have a database or a list, you can import those. And when you import them, you can also assign them a tag. And then from there, you could do all kinds of things. You could assign additional tags and so forth. You can also export your contacts. Even if you're not going anyplace else, occasionally it's just a good idea to export your contacts. This is the most valuable thing in your business is your database or your leads. So export them, save it on your computer or someplace just so you've got a backup. And sometimes sometimes it's easier just to read through a piece of paper and kind of get an overview of what's happening with that. All right. And then another fairly new feature is you can have companies and you can have multiple contacts that all belong to one company. Okay. So you're a salesperson and you're working with the ABC company, but there might be 5 people that all belong to that company. So now you can, it's like an additional category that you can give them. All right. And then the last little card here is merging contacts. So you can, I think phone number is the primary indicator for each contact. But if people come into your world several times and maybe, as long as that phone number is the same and maybe one time they use this email, another time they use that, or maybe the same email, but different names, whatever it is, you can merge those up to 10. All right, so that's basically in a nutshell how you can navigate and do like bulk actions, so to speak, with your contacts. Now, over here to the right, what you can do is you could do a quick search. So if I, was searching for Debbie, for instance, or I just talked to Betty, I could just do a quick search and it would bring up anybody with that name or anybody with a particular email. You could search for anything that you wanted. You can also, over here to the far, far right, click on more filters. And now what you can do is you can filter on all kinds of things. And I'm just going to filter based on the tag. And the tag is or is not, or the tag is empty. So it has all these different variables. So I'm looking for a specific tag. And because it's a tag, it's bringing up all my tags. And I know that my tag is OMG. I know it started with OMG, and here it is. So I'm going to tell it search for anybody that has the OMG lead magnet tag. And it shows, and I think you can't really see the number, but there's like 75 people here that fit this tag. Okay. So then at this point, I could close this window and I could come back and I could do a quick email to all these people, for instance. Or what I could do is with this filter still showing, there's something at the bottom called save as a smart list. This, again, is something that is underutilized because once you create a smart list, the beautiful thing is it will continue to add to that. Okay. So I'm running a Facebook ad right now. And when people sign up for it, they get this tag, OMG lead magnet. So if I wanted to just constantly keep adding to that subset, I will create a smart list. Now, I think I already have one, so I'm just going to call this one OMG Facebook campaign. I'm going to make it a little different so that I can find it. Okay. And then I'm going to save it. And then so I'm still looking at all of these contacts, but if I come up here to the top, do you notice I've got all of these different little labels? So I'm going to click on a different one. I actually have a smart list that says anyone that does not have an email, I'm adding them to my spam list. And all of these, if I went down and looked at them, they're all just bogus. And so every so often I come in here and I just delete these. Once I set that smart list up, I don't have to do this ever again. So remember, this is the contact that we were looking at. Because it came in just 5 hours ago, automatically, though, it got added to this smart list. Is that making sense, what I'm saying? So now let me come back here to the smart list that I just created, the OMG Facebook campaign. And again, here's everybody. I've got 78 people that have signed up for that lead magnet. And now at this point, I could select all. And if I click the little box over here to the left, notice it says you've selected 20 records because that's the default page size. But I could say, no, select all 78. So now all 78 of those people have been selected. And now what could I do? Again, just like what I talked about, I could give them yet a new tag. Maybe I want to make sure that these people I'm tagging them that they're coming from my Facebook, or maybe I want to send them an email all at once. So I can just do all of that right inside of here from this smart list. And again, the beautiful thing now that I have this set up, anytime somebody comes in and they have this OMG, it automatically adds them to the smart list. All right. Is that making sense, what I'm saying? All right. I think that's all I had. Let me just, I'm going to stop sharing here and let me just check my list here. Oh, there is one more thing that I want to show you. So let me share my screen again. Over here, like I say, GoHighLevel has been just pushing out all kinds of updates. But if you come over here to the far left to your different menu items, go to settings. And then if you go to staff, so I'm just going to open up me here. And if you come down here to so I've selected one of my staff members, you might be the only person, that's okay. Open that up and down here kind of near the bottom in this column on the left, it says notification settings. I absolutely love this. So now we can determine in advance, how do we want to get notified? And some of these are automatically turned on. So for instance, and most of these are the preset, but here it's saying notify for all new conversations and messages initiated within the account. And how do I want to be notified? In app, in other words, in the application, email, I can turn this on or off, or a text message. So you can choose all of them, none of them, however you want it, okay? Remember, I talked about assigning your leads to particular users in your account. So if you have a team member, you could set this up that when somebody gets assigned to me, I automatically will get an email or an SMS, however I want to do it. Okay. I just think it's great. Our task, notify when a task gets assigned to me. So I could check all of them if I want, and then get a reminder. And so I could change this, let me say 2 days before. So again, how do I want to be reminded about my upcoming task? In the application, I'll get a little flag, email and SMS. So I might just have the email and SMS, okay? Also down here, which I think is super powerful, notify when a new review is received. And so again, inside of the application, and it could send me an email. I mean, on these kinds of things, and the same thing with Google, I don't necessarily need a text message on that. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so let me see if there's any other questions. So I'm just going to save this. And let me come back. Let me stop sharing here. Okay, so just as a quick recap, the the secret gold mine is really utilizing your CRM that's built right into this all-in-one marketing package. Please use it. Take advantage of all of these bells and whistles. It's going to simplify your life. You're never going to have to depend on those sticky notes. You won't have to constantly be asking yourself, did I remember to do this? Make the notes, make the task. And you saw how easy it was. We now can select a contact, send them, create a subscription on the spot. So maybe we've got them on the phone. We can have that contract ready to go, send that to them. We can do some group actions. So we could create a smart list and then based on that tag or whatever it is. And then from there, we can do things like send out a real quick blast email or a text message or whatever. Okay. So take advantage of it. Let us know. And then, okay, the question, how to find where you can get those tasks. When you first log in to your dashboard, you're going to see it there. So all of your tasks and notifications are going to show up there and it'll just keep you on target. All right. So as always, if you have questions, reach out to us. We are here to help you. I hope this was useful. Let us know how you're using the CRM. If you have other questions, let us know. And I'll stop the recording. That way, if people have questions, we can dig in a little more.